Patrick.
Yeah.
And now our safety has gone down up to $950. Someone can steal from a store
Well, you gotta be
and
kidding.
leave.
What?
Yes, fact. So they can steal from a store up to $950. If the Walgreens or CVS employee says stop or tries to stop them, they get fired.
Now that's, okay, I want to tell you something. If you know the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah, God let fire come down over them, and it's going to happen to us. I mean, we can't live like that.
It's not healthy.
They're letting the people steal like that. I never, and that's kind of something. It's interesting to hear that, but it's not a fun thing to hear. You know what I'm saying?
I heard you.
I'm willing to bet those Amish had their faith strengthened that day. You can't be a better messenger of the Lord than to go down to a religious community and tell them, hey, let me tell you about California now. Let me tell you what's going on there. By the way, speaking of Sodom and Gomorrah, I had a very terrible day yesterday because I was doing This Week is Stupid. And in order to do this segment, I have to go on various websites to collect news, to bring you guys the update of what happened that week. Now, unfortunately, when you go on the Huffington Post, when you go on Vox, when you go on Newsweek, you're going to find hardcore porn now. Because you see, apparently, VidMe had its domain name purchased by a pornographic company, right? So I had to see people gagging and sucking and doing all the nasty shit yesterday while I'm working. Fiance comes into the room and it's like, oh, baby, I thought you were working. Like, what are you doing here? What is this nonsense? If you wanted to watch the Ficky, why couldn't you call so I can watch it with you? It's like, go away, woman. I'm legitimately working. Anyway, right, welcome to This Week is Stupid for the 24th of July, 2021. I hope your last week was a lot better than mine. I hope you had a great week, but if not, I'm going to help you laugh a little bit, get some of that stress off, make you get into that Amish vibe. Seriously, you guys should watch that video. It's really great. I mean, man, like, I haven't seen something so wholesome on YouTube since ever. I mean, it's just like people chilling. That's how you look like without CNN in your life. My God, I shouldn't advertise like that, because then people will be like, you know what, I'm going to tune out of politics, and then I'm going to tune out of V's channel. Yeah, so let me give you something that happened yesterday. I covered this on my gaming channel as well, but since it's probably one of the dumbest things that I have ever seen anyone do in my entire life, I will cover it in This Week is Stupid as well. Now, I will have a question for you. What are you willing to do in order to win an internet argument? Because internet arguments are very important. I know people who spend the entire night all the way to 4 a.m. in order to win an internet debate on Facebook. And they had work the next day, or they had an exam at school. I know people who have the woman waiting for them in the bedroom, and they're like, yeah, just a minute, dear, just a minute. I need to solve this internet issue. I need to solve this internet troll, right? So it can happen. It can happen. But apparently this guy actually revealed classified documents in order to win a forum argument. You understand what he did? Like, this guy apparently was a tank commander, right? And he noticed a little bit of a problem in the game. Apparently one of the tanks wasn't accurate, wasn't up to specs. The distance between the turret and the armor was a little bit too wide, which allowed for bullets to penetrate it a little bit more easier. So the guy goes on a forum and goes like, look, I'm a tank commander, okay? I got expertise. I know what I'm talking about. And the forum devs, they tell him, like, dude, you're not a tank commander. Just shut the fuck up. So the guy comes up with receipts. Like, he actually shows the classified documents on the forum. Now, apparently the developers, they raised an eyebrow because the documents kind of look legit, because they worked with documents in order to create the tanks, but the documents they work with are classified. So they actually call the officials, and the officials do confirm that those are classified documents. Now, the problem with this is that now it's on their forums. They have like state secrets, highly guarded military secrets on their forums, and the developers, you know, they start freaking out, so they delete everything. I guess that proved that the tank commander knew his shit. The other side of the issue is that now the tank commander can go to prison for around 10 years or so for declassifying military secrets. But I'm telling you this, like that sounds to me like a man with conviction. You know, that is a man that defends his honor. I mean, he knew he wasn't lying. He knew he wasn't a liar, and when he was called a liar, he was, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to prove it. And he did. But that was the most stupid thing that I have ever seen anyone do. Now, let's wash away the stupidity with some wholesome news. Now, as you guys know, because of the lockdowns, well, actually, due to the lockdowns, because this is a positive thing, right? Because it's when it's negative. So, due to the lockdowns, people like Jeff Bezos managed to get a lot of money, right? Because his business was essential. The mom and pop stores were considered non-essential and they were shut down. And people, instead of shopping at the mom and pop stores, shopped on Amazon. So now Jeff Bezos has a lot of money. And to show that he is a charitable individual, that he cares about the marginalized people of society, he decided to donate $100 million each to two CNN contributors, Van Jones and Jose Andres. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. And apparently they can share the wealth or they can keep it. They can do whatever they want with the money. And according to Bezos, this is a philanthropic initiative he wanted to announce called Courage and Civility Award. I mean, I gotta say, no one is more courageous than the people at CNN. I mean, I guess it takes courage to work at CNN. When you're fear-mongering like a boss, day in and day out, when you're scaring the living shit out of people with your reporting, yeah, it does take a little bit of courage. It does take courage to look into the mirror and live with yourself. I do agree, this is a perfectly good donation, but my God, I don't know if I can read this with a straight face. I'll try. All right, like, chat, please bear with me. The award aims to honor those who have demonstrated courage and try to be a unified. Try to be a unifier. Try to be a unifier in a divisive world. I managed to do it, yeah. Honestly, when I look at CNN, I do think about unity. Like, isn't fascism all about unity? Like, getting people together under one leader? Who gets people together under the Democrats better than the CNN? They are definitely doing that, and they are courageous. As I mentioned before, like, you have to sum up the courage to walk to that mirror and look into it. So, yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful way to spend the money of the people, right? Like, brilliant. Give it to the CNN anchors. And it also, creates an incentive for other journalists to report on Jeff Bezos properly. Because if you're a journalist and you show courage and you show unity, right? You too may win one day $100 million from Jeff Bezos. I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying is that it's not impossible, right? So it persuades other reporters to follow the rightful path. Like, for example, explain to people the positivity of lockdowns, why they're the best shit ever in a liberal capitalist democracy, why they're essential. Because it makes Jeff Bezos happy, and then Jeff Bezos gives money to the journalists. It's a brilliant working merger between corporations to educate and help the people. Now, unfortunately, and I say this with a heavy heart, some people don't want to be educated. Some people don't want to see the light. And it just so happens that in the heart of the cathedral, within the sanctity of CNN, one author has managed to say something that was very bigoted. Let's hear him out.
And that's what Trump does. He has spent most of his administration seeing people on television and immediately calling them.
But maybe that's how it works sometimes,
I don't want you to think...
Is that how it works? That's how you get access?
But I don't want you to think that what I said at that point was in any way inauthentic. I think the media has done a terrible job on this. I think you yourself... you're a nice guy, you're full of sanctimony. You become part of one of the parts of the problem of the media. You come on here and you have a monopoly on truth. You know exactly how things are supposed to be done. You know, you are one of the reasons people can't stand the media. Sorry.
You're cracking me up.
It's your fault.
So what should I do differently, Michael?
You know, don't talk so much. Listen more. You know, people have genuine problems with the media. The media doesn't get the story right. The media exists in its own bubble.
That's true.
You know,
I agree.
You know, you got to stop. I mean, that last segment that I just had to listen to of all of the people saying the same old stuff. Also, you're incredibly repetitive. It's week after week. I mean, you're the flip side of Donald Trump. You know, fake news, and you say virtuous news. You know, there's
we just
a
figure out what
problem
is
here.
real.
I mean,
I'm listening.
Well, figuring out what is real is not so easy, and
Right.
You know, most people don't want to turn to Brian Stelter to tell us what's real. I'm sorry.
Well, then why'd you bother coming on CNN a few times this week?
You know, I'm a book salesman.
Michael, I love talking to you. I'm grateful you came on, and I guess let's do it again in 4 years. Thanks.
What a bad person going on there and shaming those brave people that are only there to unite us and accusing them of having a monopoly on truth. That is not the job of the media to have a monopoly on truth. That is the job of the government.
Providing for Facebook or other platforms to measure and publicly share the impact of misinformation on their platform and the audience it's reaching. Also with the public, with all of you, to create robust enforcement strategies that bridge their properties and provide transparency about rules. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
I definitely agree. I am so happy that the US government has taken it upon itself to separate the facts from misinformation. In fact, I would say that it's such an important job that they should create an entire ministry just to handle this project. I think they should call it the Ministry of Truth. And only then can people be safe. Because you see, misinformation kills people. I'm not kidding. Like, if people are allowed to be free, then they can misinform each other and they can commit crimes. Like, you don't believe me? Well, maybe you will believe the US president.
What's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people. I mean, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. And they're killing.
Look, it's really simple, you bigot. If you are the restaurant owner, and in your restaurant people come to your tables to have food, and while they're having food they are spreading misinformation, you, the restaurant owner, you're killing people. You're a serial killer because you allowed misinformation to happen in your restaurant. What you should have done is to put a microphone under every table, to put a waiter to chaperone the conversation, and to make sure that only proper information is being sent in your establishment. Anything less than that, and you know what the US president said you did. Now, some people are asking the question, if Facebook is so dangerous, why is it allowed to operate? Because if you have a machine that is killing people, you shut it down, right? I mean, hey, look, I understand that Skynet is a private company and can do whatever it wants, but I still like to think that in the real world, people would shut down Skynet. They would say, hey, you know what, like, this is a little bit dangerous. Like a private nuclear reactor, let's imagine what if it would be melting, you try to shut it down, right? So why is the US president not shutting down Facebook then? If it's so dangerous, I mean, according to him, people are dying because of it. Why is he not shutting it down? Because America is a free country, motherfucker. That's why. It is a country that allows people to be free. And that is why you should be proud to be an American. I wish I was an American. You know, we don't have freedom over here. Like here, we shut down evil companies, but in America, evil companies are allowed to continue. Even though the US president would be now complacent because he's not doing anything to shut it down. Now, I'm going to admit that he did backpedal a little bit. He said that, okay, maybe... No, he didn't backpedal, he doubled down. But he also mentioned, like he added a little bit of an extra saying that it's just like a couple of people, like he's got a list. Okay, he's got a list of names. And those are the people that are actually putting the misinformation out there. And I just want to ask, it's like, why are these people working for the US government then? You know, like in those movies where you have Hacker Man. And Hacker Man manages to break into NASA or break into the CIA. And then the CIA goes to Hacker Man and tells him, look, like, because you're such a great hacker, because you're such an excellent hacker, we give you a choice. You can either go to prison for 20 years, or you can work for us. And then Hacker Man becomes the good guy, you know? So, I'm trying to understand, like, you're telling me, okay, like, this is what I need to believe. That you have the government, you have a lot of money being sent to celebrities, you have, like, scientists, you have opinion influencers, all of these people put together, plus, like, your average Joe, sending out good information. Like, they're telling the great information out there. They're putting good information. But you're telling me some twat with a keyboard in his basement is able to not only put misinformation, but, like, to persuade people that literally the entire society is wrong, but it's just like the guy with the keyboard that's right. Why aren't you hiring that guy for the government? Like, just pay him money so he will be on your side. You know, like you paid actors and whatnot. Like, why aren't you paying the guy that's spreading misinformation to spread good information? A lot of people, because, like, the thing is, you know, like, you might say, well, what if he's got morals? Like, what if... No, like, every person has a price. You know, if you go to him $500 million, because, like, he's so powerful, right? Like, it would be worth it. You're saving lives. Give him $500 million. It's like, boom. You know, print some extra money. Print some extra money and give it to him. And it's like, okay, from now on, you're going to put good information. Oh, you don't know what good information is? Like, here's some talking points. Why is no one hiring me? Why is no one putting me in charge? Because I would find solution to every single problem. Like, I would manage to look at a problem and I would fix it. Like, for example, right now, there is a problem in Israel, right? Like, not everyone wants to vaccinate, right? Like, some of the people don't want to, so we had this communicate.
עדיין יש מעל 600,000 צעירים עד גיל 30 שעוד לא התחסנו. אני מכבד דעות שונות, אבל יש רגע ויש מקום שבו הדיון הזה צריך לעצור, והוא עצם החיים של כולנו. המדע הוא חד וברור. החיסונים עובדים, הם יעילים ובטוחים. לצעירים באופן כמעט מוחלט, למבוגרים הם יעילים אבל לא מספקים. מעל מיליארד אנשים בעולם כבר התחסנו. אזרחים יקרים, סרבני החיסונים מסכנים את בריאותם, את סביבתם ואת החופש של כל אזרחי ישראל. הם מסכנים את החופש שלנו לעבוד, את החופש של ילדינו ללמוד, החופש לחגוג שמחות עם המשפחה. סרבני החיסונים פוגעים בכולנו. כי אם כולם יתחסנו, כולם יוכלו לקיים את שגרת חייהם. אבל אם מיליון ישראלים ימשיכו לא להתחסן, זה יאלץ את 8 מיליון האחרים בסוף להסתגר בבתים שלהם. לכן הקבינט קיבל היום החלטה שהחל מה-8 באוגוסט סרבן חיסון לא יוכל להיכנס לקולנוע, לתיאטרון, לבית הכנסת, ללונה פארק, למשחק כדורגל או לכל פעילות מעל 100 איש, בפנים או בחוץ, אלא אם הוא יביא בדיקת קורונה שלילית על חשבונו. כן, הוא יישא במלוא עלות הבדיקה. אין שום סיבה שמשלמי המיסים והאנשים שכן מקיימים את חובתם האזרחית להתחסן, יממנו בדיקות למי שמסרב להתחסן. בתחום הטיסות, המחוסנים יוכלו לטוס למדינות הנקיות ולחזור, ולאחר קבלת תוצאות בדיקת הקורונה בישראל, הם יהיו פטורים מבידוד. אך לעומתם, מי שמסרבים להתחסן, ייכנסו לבידוד של שבוע מכל מדינה שיחזרו ממנה. הפעולות הללו יסייעו לבלום את התחלואה. אני פונה מכאן לכל מי שמכיר סרבן חיסון. שכנעו אותו, תסבירו לו, שלא יפגע באחרים, תשכנעו אותה, תסבירו לה, אל תוותר.
I mean, that's a good system. That is a great system. Though, you know what I would have done differently? You know, because now you have, like, people in the comment section accusing of this of being dictatorship and whatnot. Look what I would have done, okay? If you put me in charge of Israel, right? I would have gone in front of the Jewish people and I would have said, look. If you don't get it right now, it might be expensive in the future. It might cost money. There might be shortages. It might be difficult to get. It might sting your wallet. I guarantee to you. All of it would be sold the next day. Like all of it, gone. That's how I would have done it. Right? But I guess the other option might also work. I mean, I don't know. You know, like using the stick. The nagging. I love the nagging though. Like it works really great when my wife nags me. Like she gets everything she wants. All she has to do is nag. And I just go like, okay, you know, I'm outmatched here. I mean, to be honest, you know what? I take it back. I was wrong. I was like, hey, what Israel is doing is not a bad thing because this is how you do the proper community outreach. This is how you get people to trust the government. Right? They had the debate. I mean, everyone participated, right? Like everyone had the discussion, everyone had the voice, but the debate is over now. The United States also shows a great example on how you can trust the government. You know what they call this administration? The most transparent administration. There is no opacity to be had. It's very transparent. You can see right through it.
Are individuals who are vaccinated who get the virus, and you know, we are in a different place in terms of the impact of individuals who may have, as you said, breakthrough cases.
Why not just provide the number? Are you trying to hide something?
No, but why do you need to have that information?
I love that. It's on a need-to-know basis. You see, Star Wars prepared you for this. It's exactly like Admiral Gender Studies from Star Wars. She didn't tell the plan to Poe. And what did Poe did? Poe rebelled. And who was right in the end? Who was right in the end? Like when Leia awakens after doing the Mary Poppins experiment, and she wakes up, like who was Admiral Gender Studies was right. All Poe had to do was to trust in the plan. But he didn't. He asked too many questions. And questions leads to rebellion. So we need to stamp down the questions, stamp down the misinformation, make absolutely sure that there is only one venue of communication from the truth tellers to your ears. Now, I want to mention that, that there have been some very horrible accusations. Some people have compared what is going on, especially in France, which is similar to what is going on in Israel. And people were comparing it to the Nazis. Like the government is like the Nazis. Yeah, and this shocked experts. Like it left experts baffled. Like how can in 2021 anyone call someone else a Nazi? Like when did you ever hear someone make that accusation? Can you imagine? Like I have gone on the internet and I have never ever seen someone call someone else a Nazi. Like that is just, you just don't do this to other people, especially to the government. And I don't know why anyone could make that comparison. I really do not understand just how out of touch a person needs to be in order to make such a comparison. Although, I gotta ask, what the fuck is a hate speech expert? So you're telling me that this person is such a professional at hate speaking that he became an expert? Like, what, did he learn it on 4chan? Like, where did he learn to hate speak so well that he got elevated to the status of expert? And what do they do? Like, what does a hate speech expert do? Is this why there's like so much hate speech on the internet? Because like the experts are staying there and they're speaking. I'm listening. Hate speech expert. Now, the Associated Press, if you guys remember, if you read the newspaper, it's actually one of the few ones where I didn't have to watch pornography while reading it. God. You know, in the past, it encouraged people to attend BLM protests because it's the right thing to do. I mean, they're common sense individuals. However, now, they're a little bit worried about what happens in Cuba. Because you see in Cuba, like, people are protesting communism. And all of a sudden, turns out that if you're protesting communism, you might spread the virus. Like, if you're doing a BLM rally, it's fine, but if you're protesting communism, it's not. So, you know, like, a lot of people don't understand this. And let me explain you. This is why the government needs to hire me and put me in charge. Because I can look at a situation and I can explain it to you. All right? God damn it, someone else explained it before me in this case. So, NBC News actually explained it. See? Because of the protests, people stayed home. Do you understand this? Like, because people were protesting and they were watching CNN, The Great Unifier, the brave journalists at CNN explaining it live, people decided to stay home, and that's why the cases weren't rising. What's that? Like, there were hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets? Yeah, but like, can you imagine how many of them could have been if it wasn't for the hundreds of thousands of people in the streets? Right? Because America is a bigoted nation and most people just didn't want to attend the protests. And you get like Vox, the effect of Black Lives Matter protests on the cases explained. And then you also have the Healthline explaining it. Like, there are reasonable explanations for this. Okay? You don't have to believe the disinformation. When there are cases of clear-cut information available to you. We live in the age of technology. Your ignorance is no excuse. Oh my god, I'm sick and tired of talking about COVID. Like, honestly, it's the only thing in the news. That and porn, as we discussed in the beginning. But, no, seriously, like, I miss doing my segment when I didn't have to talk about it. But yet again, like, here it is again. Now, in Texas, the Democrats, very, very brave and very courageous, they defied the law in order to flee Texas because the Republicans were going to suppress the people's right to vote. And by the Democrats fleeing Texas, they actually managed to not allow the Republicans to have the quorum. So the Republicans are now issuing arrest warrants for these people. Like, when they return to Texas, they're going to be arrested and dragged back into the House to have the quorum. But this is not what the story is about. Now, as you can see, these people are very oppressed. Actually, they're rebels, they're champions, you know, they said that they're being oppressed, but this picture doesn't seem to go hand in hand with what they're saying, because you see them here in the plane smiling. One of the things, though, is like they're not wearing a mask, right? Like, do you guys fly? Do you fly commercial? This is not a commercial jet. This is a private jet, as I understand it. So they don't have to mask. See, they're not breaking all the laws, just some of them. Right? But they're like, they're the people that are being elected, so they're above the laws. They're like the referee in a football game. Like, the referee doesn't play. He just sits there supervising if the players play properly. That's how they view themselves. So, yeah, I mean, they're not masking up, you know, not very healthy for the environment. I don't think Greta Thunberg likes it, on the fact that they're taking a private jet. I mean, the planet is dying. I understand the house is on fire, and they're flying with a private jet. But this is what happens when it comes from Texas. That's why. You know, like, these are the Democrats. They're Texas Democrats. Everything from Texas is evil. What if I were to tell you that apparently one of them was actually infected with the virus and passed it off to one of Nancy Pelosi's staff members. And Nancy Pelosi herself was also in the hospital to check to see if she has it. Was, you know, what if you can make a movie out of it? Like, this could have been the biological bomb from Texas. Do you know what this is? Like, how would you name this movie? I'll tell you how I would name this movie. The T virus. Because it came from Texas. It's like Resident Evil. The T virus. Look it up. Google it. T virus. It's great. Finally. I'm done talking about my least favorite subject. It is my least favorite subject. It's like, there's little I can talk about it, because, like, you open the news and they talk about it 24/7. But let's talk about something else, right? A new emoji was released. It shows a pregnant man. It's a very beautiful emoji, and I think it took only 5 seconds for bigots to ruin it. That's why we can't have anything fun. They're ruining by misusing it. Like, don't people know? Like, if the company gives it a purpose, it's against the rules to use it for other purpose. Do you know how people use this emoji? They're using it to say, like, oh my god, I had so much to eat. And then they post it. Or, I need to take such a big dump. And then they put, like, these are bad people, honestly. Like, I hope the White House can expand its Ministry of Truth and target these people as well. Now, there's one more news, and I think I'm going to end with this. Apparently, John Lennon has came back from the grave and is typing. No, seriously, like, he's got a check mark, okay? Like, John Lennon, like, some people think he's dead. No, that's a conspiracy theory. Clearly, he's not, because Twitter verified his account, right? Like, that's what the check mark means, isn't it? It's like, the person is like the official account of the person, and this is like the official account of the thought to be deceased John Lennon. It's like, imagine we're not the first to say imagine no countries or give peace a chance, but we're carrying the torch, like the Olympic torch, passing it hand to hand to each other, to each country, to each generation, and that's our job. So basically, like, John Lennon came back from the grave in order to do a little bit of PR. And I find it very interesting, right? Like, he's now a no borders activist, like a very radical, like far left revolutionary. And I'm curious though, like, if there's no borders, how can you have the Olympics? Huh? I mean, by the way, like, no borders, isn't that like code speak for imperialism? Because, like, the British Empire, by conquering many nations, like, removed the borders between them. You weren't now in two different nations. No, you're in the British Empire. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I hope you actually enjoyed This Week is Stupid. If you did, please consider sending me either a super chat, or you can go to my subscribe star and you can give me a tip. And I promise to you, okay? This, I promise. I will give you buyer's remorse in return. And it also helps if you thumbs up this video. If you like it, leave a comment. Helps with the algorithm. I hope that I managed to get you guys to enjoy it a little bit. Right? Because that's the purpose of this. It's comedy. Alright? I'm not trying to change the world. I'm not doing activism. I'm not trying to inform people. Or disinform them, heaven forbid. No, I'm just trying to make people laugh. Because life is kind of gloomy, especially nowadays, and I'm just hoping that I can manage to put a smile on your face. And if I manage to do that, please let me know in the comment section. And as usually, I'll be live streaming right after this, and I'll see you guys there if you want to join me. Take care.